Justice for Peter Smith, a family's journey towards closure. Violent crimes shock communities to their core, disrupting the lives of those left behind and leaving a trail of grief, fear, and unanswered questions. In Peter Smith's case, it was a senseless act committed in his own home, a place that should be safe from the world's dangers, that led to a tragic end. Today, we delve deep into the chilling events surrounding the murder of Peter Smith, exploring the brutal crime, the pursuit of justice, and the impact it had on his family and community. This sobering story serves as a cautionary tale, urging us all to remain vigilant and fight for justice in the face of unimaginable tragedy. Peter Smith was a beloved family member and respected member of his community. Affectionate, kind, and full of life, he was the type of person everyone could rely on. Tragically, this vibrant life was cut short in his own home, a sanctuary that became the setting for a gruesome crime. According to authorities, Peter was the victim of a violent, brutal, and senseless attack. The crime shocked the South Australian community when it came to light. On that fateful day, Paul Rooms, an acquaintance of Peter Smith, brutally assaulted him, leaving behind a scene of horror. Rooms's rage resulted in catastrophic injuries that Peter could not survive. Forensic details describe the attack as deeply disturbing, carried out without regard for Peter's humanity. Such crimes are the stuff of nightmares, leaving families and communities struggling to comprehend what could drive someone to commit such a heinous act. In Peter's case, the brutality felt even more personal because it occurred in the sanctity of his home, a place where he should have been safe. The investigation into Peter Smith's murder began promptly, with law enforcement working tirelessly to get to the bottom of this tragic case. The crime scene left detectives grappling with the grim reality of how the events unfolded. Evidence quickly pointed to Paul Rooms, a 67-year-old with a history of anger issues. Witnesses and physical evidence from the crime scene played a critical role in building the case. Police gathered testimony about the moments leading up to the violent episode, piecing together a timeline that placed Rooms squarely at the crime scene. A tragic yet persuasive chain of evidence began to materialize, painting Rooms as the suspect. The investigative team worked with methodical precision, aware that only a solid case could deliver justice for Peter Smith and his grieving family. As the pieces fell into place, the world learned more about the victim and the extent of the violence he endured. Determined to ensure accountability, investigators systematically prepared for what would become a long legal battle. As Paul Rooms faced legal proceedings, the courtroom became a stage for emotions, anger, sorrow, and a desperate plea for justice. Rooms eventually pleaded guilty to Peter Smith's murder, but even this admission did not dampen the anguish felt by Peter's family. They wanted justice, yes, but they also wanted the world to know who Peter was. A man who deserved so much more than the fate he met. The prosecution spared no efforts in laying bare the horrifying details of Peter's death. Their arguments portrayed Rooms' actions as a deliberate and cruel attack stemming from blind rage. They emphasized the senseless nature of the crime, painting a picture of a brutal act that could not and should not be forgiven easily. The defense, for its part, attempted to humanize Rooms, pointing to personal struggles and circumstances that may have contributed to his behavior. Ultimately, the overwhelming evidence and Rooms' own guilty plea left no room for doubt in the judge's mind. The court sentenced Paul Rooms to life imprisonment with a non-parole period of 20 years, a consequence reflecting the gravity of his actions. The family of Peter Smith waited anxiously for this day, the moment when a guilty party would be held accountable, offering them some semblance of resolution. While no verdict could ever truly replace Peter or erase the pain of losing him, the sentencing brought comfort to those who loved him. They could now begin to grieve properly, free from the uncertainty of the legal process. Peter's family expressed their gratitude to the investigators, prosecutors, and the judicial system for delivering justice. Yet behind their appreciation lay the raw reality of loss. They had been robbed of a valued family member, and there would be no bringing him back. This permanent absence left an unfillable void in their lives. Still, the sentencing offered a fresh start, a point from which they could rebuild, albeit amidst lingering sorrow. Their strength and resilience became a testament to the enduring love they had for Peter. Despite the darkness, they committed themselves to remember him, not for how he died, but for how he lived. Crimes like Peter's murder serve as grim reminders of the fragility of life and the importance of safeguarding our communities. The brutal nature of this crime left not only his family, but the entire South Australian community grappling with fear and confusion. It forced a reckoning with one of humanity's darkest realities, that some crimes have no explanation that can justify or soften their cruelty. For true crime enthusiasts, Peter Smith's case underscores both the horror of violent acts and the importance of a strong criminal justice system. It brings to light questions about how we as a society can better prevent such tragedies and support victims more fully. Ensuring that homes are safe havens, especially in vulnerable communities, remains a critical issue for all. The legal proceedings also emphasized how meticulous investigation and prosecution are essential in upholding justice. Law enforcement's response to Peter's murder showcased just how vital it is to approach cases methodically, leaving no stone unturned. Such diligence not only ensures accountability, but also provides a small sense of peace to those left to mourn. Peter Smith's story is a cautionary tale, urging us all to remember the fragility of our day-to-day lives. While the world cannot erase what happened to Peter, his story opens an opportunity to educate others on crime awareness and safety in their homes and communities. This video serves not only to document his tragic story, but also as a tool for reflection and vigilance. It is easy to view such crimes as detached from our lives, something that only happens to others far away. But the reality is that crime, especially acts of violence, can touch anyone's life when least expected. For this reason, we must advocate for stronger protections for our loved ones, foster open dialogues about safety, and remain alert in our daily lives. While justice has been served in Peter's case, his legacy will continue. His family's bravery and determination to see the legal process through are a reminder of the human spirit's resilience. As we remember Peter Smith for the wonderful person he was, let his story inspire us to create safer communities for all. The justice system has delivered a sense of closure for Peter Smith's family, sentencing Paul Rooms to life imprisonment for a crime that shook South Australia and the hearts of many. Through his family's loss and pain, we are reminded of both the devastation caused by violent crime and the critical role of justice in moving forward. This case is a stark warning about the consequences of unchecked violence and the importance of addressing crime effectively and compassionately. To Peter's family, his memory will forever live on, a reminder of the love they shared and the spaces he brightened. As we conclude this story, let us not forget the enduring lessons it offers. Justice can prevail even in the shadow of unspeakable loss. And while we cannot always prevent tragedies like Peter Smith's murder, we can work together to demand accountability and seek strength in the pursuit of truth and healing. Warning: this story contains details that may be distressing to some viewers. Please take care while viewing.